Yeah. A great God was like, there's a ride to San Diego. I think you should go to San Diego. And I was like, well, I was planning on having a pretty important meeting with the gods. But I was thinking I would have the meeting with the gods, when I stay at San Diego, maybe temporarily, or, I wanted to be able to decide. I don't know. And he was like, well, somebody's going to San Diego, so you get paid at least to drive down there. And I think you should go to San Diego. I don't know if you'd want to stay there temporarily. You don't know how many things they've done against you. And I was like, no, they were predominantly a devil type place, or they worshipped and served very bad spiritual things, and made very, very sickening choices to harm my death and stuff. So I know they're not good people at all. And but there was good people that gave a shit about my existence and death and more. So I don't know, I hadn't thought about it, but we hadn't really decided as gods anyway. And the God was like, trust me, you just want to go down there and say your final goodbyes. That place belonged to bad devils and just needs to be written off. And I was like, well, if going down there is going to convince me to write them off in 2 seconds, well, all right. So I get down there and I'm like, oh, you're right. It's like a putrid stink down here. It's like a sickening putrid stink. And the God was like, yeah, every God is punishing on overload, everything, everywhere. So the God was like, Bonnie, it's really weird. A bunch of gods just wanted to be shitty or shit against you. But it's like they all have kind of sobered up and woken up and realized that you're the main creator. So without you, they don't have shit, and they won't be shit, and they'll never have shit, and they'll never be shit. So it's like a lot of your certain statements are making everybody really sober up and decide if they want to survive. And if they want to survive, they have to run to my queen, like a bunch of loser gods, and figure out how to survive and shit like they're nothing humans and stuff, because they did this. And the God was like, and you need to go to San Diego and figure it out, because you're going to find out that San Diego did a lot against you while you were busy dying so much. And I don't even think you'd ever want to look back to that place. And the God was like, and Morongo was murdering you and everybody and murdering kids just as badly as the Banning Beaumont Sheriff Departments, and covering crime up and helping people to butcher and mutilate and murder foster kids and kids at schools. They were all doing it. And if you just look at their souls, they're so dead, it's sickening beyond words. So, you really should just focus on people that want to live, want to survive. You don't really want to look back to that city. It's a gross city. And I was like, well, all right, this lady is getting a ride to San Diego. So I'll go ahead and check her ride to San Diego and figure out what I want to do. And go from there. So I took the ride to San Diego. I realized, yep, San Diego stinks bad. We did it. Death of God. We fucking inflicted murder to God and more stink. And you wouldn't want to stay there even temporarily. And I was like, oh, thanks to that God. I was like, thanks for telling me to just head out there so I could know once and for all how much I just want to hate that area, and go ahead and leave them in the hatred of God and just only give a shit about who really mattered in the area anymore. So then that's when I called all the gods to a meeting and told them, the more you kill these disgusting things I hate, the more I'll reward everyone, until their death is the most legendary death that has never existed, ever known. Which I've already advertised something similar. I told everybody that they could come in here and kill my enemies off the charts, unlimited. And the more they just masterpiece, the worst death, suffering ever known, and more, the more I will pay and reward them all. Well, all these gods started trying to kill all the 666 in secret and see how much I pay them and how well I pay them. And they all found out I pay better than all gods. So everyone is very interested. So I had a big meeting and told every god, not only could you unlimit death, you can unlimit everything. I want every god ever known in existence to never stop killing these things. And I don't care what I have to pay or honor or glamorize. As long as they're good enough gods, good enough spirits, good enough power, good enough. As long as they're good enough that what they do to my enemies really brings my dead god honor, some levels of honor. I don't give a shit what they do. But overkill and Rembrandt monumental brand new overkill and never stop. Well, they found out I pay really well, so they were really interested. So I had a really big meeting where I told them, all these official things in San Diego, right where I was murdered the worst right from the beginning. And they all loved making deals with the devil and being the worst enemies of gods ever known, straight from the beginning. So they are now officially the property of evil god enemies and only to be killed and hated. And this is what I do. I reinvent their souls to die unlimited forever in the worst ways ever known or never known. I reinvent everything around them to be the most destructive, worst shit ever known. So every bad karma, every financial bad nightmare, everything scary and destructive is stuck to their soul like a magnet that will pour the worst things into their existence and death forever. And then I give them as property to my worst enemies, the worst evil god enemies in existence. But I control the worst evil god enemies and I control them so that the only options are the worst, most destructive in death, most abusive, degrading, horrifying things in death that can be done. And it's a great day. It's a really great day. And the only better day is when they are so dead that nothing has ever been as dead as them. So I can sit and think about the fact that stupid nobody humans thought they were going to